the next thing I'm going to do is, let's see, I had a next thing I was going to do. I know what it was. I'm going to go to Windows, Rendering, and I'm going to open up the lighting settings, because this, like, I'll show you something. Like, if I were to delete this, I'm not going to delete it. I'm just going to uncheck it. It has this like shadow there where it used to be, and that's because there's a technique called baking your lighting that bakes the lighting information on, like, as a texture onto the scene, so that it's more efficient than like using the real-time shadows. And the issue is that, anytime you change the layout, when I'm like if I actually got rid of this, we would have to rebake it so that this big shadow isn't still there, because there's no longer an object there. So if you want to use baked lighting, that's great, but we don't want to deal with it while we're moving things around constantly, building our layout. And Unity sometimes by default will be trying to rebuild the lighting constantly while you're working, which is kind of demanding on your PC hardware. So I always recommend, during this stage where we're really moving things around a lot, you go to Window, Rendering, Lighting Settings. Down at the bottom there should be this Auto Generate. Just make sure it's unchecked, because we don't want to constantly be building lighting while we're adjusting the geometry, the models. Okay, so I've covered that. Next thing is just kind of like figure out what I want to do with this scene. I found a version of one of these hangars that has like an interior. So I saved my town demo map. I might just quickly flip back over to that one. So in the showcase, you can see one of these things. I think it was called Hangar 6 or Hangar 7, both of them, I think. Hangar V7, 2.6, I see. So Hangar V 2.6, when I was clicking through this, I realized, wait a minute, this one actually has a separate piece for the doors, which is pretty cool. And I was like, well, I'd have to model the interior, but then I realized, wait a minute, this has the interior modeled. You see Hangar V6 inside. Let me just close this so you can see. So like, if I expand this Hangar V6, right, it's this guy. If I expand it, I did a little snooping and found it has a interior model. It's just not textured, seemingly. So let me get rid of the lighting window here. What I discovered was that if I click on the materials, the material is how it's going to apply a texture to this model. And I said, well, what if I just search for hangar? And I found some. So there's some choices here, but if I pick V2, it looks like this. If I pick, wait a minute, I chose the wrong thing. Here's the material. Let's see what V1 looks pretty good. So you can see right away, like, there's some possibilities here. These are these like struts. Let's see if I can select that. Oh, supports. Let's see if there happens to be a material called supports. So I'm just going to search supports, and there is not. But I bet I could put like any kind of like concrete or like metal looking material, aluminum. That's okay. I bet I could find something that works. And this all of a sudden is like a pretty functional interior that I was hoping to be able to use. And then the next thing I was thinking, like, okay, opening the door. So I clicked on this door piece, and I want to see what it looks like when you move it up and down. And that looks like it's going to work too. So you have to be careful because, like, for instance, this one, if I move this one up, well, it actually works pretty good too. Sometimes you get this problem where it's like if you move it up, it starts coming through the top of the house, which maybe you would never be able to see depending on how you set things up. But anyway, just little things to consider. All right, so long story short is Hangar 2v6 has an interior, so I was hoping to use that in my demo scene. So, oh, oops. Let's go back to scenes, into town demo. I don't want to save that.